Hey, this is Brian Simpson, and you're listening to Jillian and Aaron Shriver on Melodies and Memories podcast.
Welcome to the Melodies and Memories podcast with Jillian and Aaron Shriver, brought to you by Arlo Revolution. Each week, they connect melodies and memories with fans and singer-songwriters from all genres of life. When all else in life is gone, music will be left to leave the legacy of life's adventures. Please welcome your hosts of the Melodies and Memories podcast, Jillian and Aaron Shriver.
Hello, welcome guys. We are so excited. Sorry, it's kind of
Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday. We're it's a little laggy on my end. I'm trying to make sure we're figuring it all out. We got off to a little bit of a rough start with the video's like frozen, but we're good. We're good. So guys, welcome to the show. We are excited tonight. Gonna be a good one. We're gonna test the audio, make sure we're sounding good. If you're in the chat, give us a thumbs up. And once again, over here across from us, we have Mr. Jackson sitting over there joining us in, or Cryptic Steel on YouTube. So we're excited to have him on tonight. He'll pop in here and there throughout the show, I'm sure. But
Your audio is off.
Is it? That's
Yeah.
right. That's why I'm over here talking. Let's see. Says everything's good to go.
Yeah, we're like
Are we choppy? Lagging?
We're like in a fishbowl. No, we're like underwater again.
I'm gonna do a refresh. Hang tight. We're gonna do a quick refresh. We should be back. I'm gonna check the mics again. All right. Once you have audio, let me know. If you guys are in chat, let us know how it's sounding on your end, and we want to make sure we're good before we get started off tonight. Wait, these videos come. All right, videos are coming back up.
You're not coming through the mic.
Not at all. We've never had this audio or this problem
I haven't
before.
had this all long. Yeah.
We were fine a second ago.
Okay, there you go.
All right, let's check that out and see if anything's sounding better on our end before we start the show, guys. Sorry about that. We're just trying to make sure we're up and running. Sounding better yet or no?
Yeah.
You haven't getting me at all?
I mean, I'm getting you, but like it's. Hold on, hang tight. Maybe it's my bad ear.
Mom, we're at the table.
I got a bad ear. If anybody doesn't know that.
Let's see. CV.
I think it was.
Was it?
I think it's my ear.
Are you serious?
Mhm.
This whole time it's been you. Oh my god.
No,
I'm joking with you. All right, we're ready.
Yeah, I can't tell.
All right.
Okay. All right, here we go, guys. We're gonna wing this. All right. Hello and welcome everyone to season 7 of Melodies and Memories podcast. I'm your co-host Jillian Shriver.
I'm your host, Aaron Shriver.
And our mission tonight is to provide a platform for the motivated singer-songwriters, passionate fans, or someone who's making a difference in and around the music community. We hope everyone listening leaves inspired with a positive outlook and begins connecting their own melodies to memories. Tonight, we're presented by our good friends at Arlo Revolution. Cinematic wedding films, music videos, and promos, find them at arlorevolution.com. And One Tree Planted. For every 1,000 downloads of the show, we plant a tree with One Tree Planted. Download the show on your favorite podcast app. And Pod Decks. Pod Decks are the hottest tool to get your great next interview questions at the palm of your hand. Our on-screen sponsors are Art on a Higher Wire by Joelle, original and custom artwork inspired by your life moments, treasured photos, and memories. Looking for ways to support or sponsor Melodies and Memories music media? Then head on over to our Patreon page where tiers start at just $1 a month. The next best way to support the show is to like, share, and review on all podcast platforms. Remember, you can join us live every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central on Facebook and YouTube, where you can interact with the show, ask questions, or join in on our live chat with your favorite guests. Visit our website, melodiesandmemories.com, for music news, concert reviews, photos, playlists, and more.
You made it through with all the distractions you made through.
You know,
I love you tonight. It's a good night. Guys, I am very excited for this show tonight. Even though it's been crazy. We live in a zoo. I do apologize. But I've been talking with James for, I don't know, some time now about getting him on. And we wanted to wait to the right time. And I'm kind of glad we waited, because huge news this fall coming up for him. Getting to go out on tour with Luke Combs. Just amazing things. And we're going to get into that and so much more. But tonight we welcome in James McNair for episodes 170. Straight out of South Carolina, this talented singer-songwriter has taken the music industry by storm. James' hard work and dedication to his craft have led his songs being cut by some of the biggest names in country music, including Luke Combs and Morgan Wallen. But it's not just his impressive credentials that make him so captivating. It's the passion and emotion he infuses into each and every song he writes. James is a true testament to hard work and determination. He's the kind of artist who puts his heart and soul into every note he writes and every lyric he sings. Tonight, he'll be sharing his inspiring journey and some exclusive insights into the songwriting process. We are honored to discuss the melodies and memories that make up his journey, and we welcome James McNair on. What's up, buddy? How you doing? I told you it gets fun. Being a dad gets fun after a while. Our 6-year-old came down and started poking his head around and making noise down here and got the dog all wild up. So welcome to the family zoo tonight.
I love it. Well, it's the same over here too. So
we're as authentic can be.
Exactly.
We're not hiding nothing here. We're doing.
We do it out of our basement. We try our best, but having a 6-year-old and 9-year-old in the house, it's hard, man. So, dude, like I said, we've been talking for a while to get you on. I'm so excited to finally just talk to you about your journey, man. Just kind of South Carolina to Nashville and see where it went for you. But tell me about just growing up, man. Your earliest music memory, maybe what your parents were playing around the house, and just what you remember, man, for music, just being a part of you.
Yeah, so I would say my earliest memories would be my dad was always playing vinyls. He was a huge collector of pretty much anything from the 70s through early 90s, and it was anywhere from Led Zeppelin to Skinner to Earth, Wind and Fire. And honestly, the earlier country that I listened to, it wasn't even that old, but he was really into like Kathy Mattea and Mary Chapin Carpenter, just a bunch of like very like unique, and he was into Chesney and McGraw and stuff, but I think it was just the mixture of that music in the house all the time really inspired me in the 90s growing up.
Dude, I love when I was researching this and you brought up your dad's vinyl and stuff. Kind of how he's still yelling at you not to mess up the needle back in the day, man. I still have, when my parents first moved we live outside Chicago. When they first moved here in 69, they bought one of these old cabinet record players with the whole turntable, and I still have it. It's upstairs in the house. I play vinyl on it all the time. I still remember him telling me and yelling at me, "Don't touch that needle. You can't touch that needle." So I was reading that. I was kind of connected a little bit, and I love that, man. Of all the vinyls you remember him having, what's a couple of the covers that just kind of stuck to you? You're like, damn, what is this?
I would say, like, as a kid, I think the Boston covers were always like pretty crazy because they had spaceships on them and they felt very I don't even know the word, but it reminded me of a video game, kind of like almost like you'd find like Space Invaders or something. So Boston always had interesting ones, but I'm pretty sure he had like the original Street Survivors by Skinner, because I think they pulled them off the shelves, and he had one of those, and he had some of the Zeppelin ones, like, and I'm trying to think if it was Zeppelin 3 or Zeppelin 4, but it had a guy with an older guy, like a hunchback with sticks out the back. I remember that. And yeah, there was a ton of them, man. And he had all of the Springsteen stuff, which is mostly just Bruce looking pretty on the cover, either with the guitar or, how
a bandana out the
his
pocket.
covers were. Yep. That's right.
I love that, man. My dad had the old Cheech and Chong albums, and years later I found out that they were supposed to have rolling papers inside of them, but they never had rolling papers in them. So I think my dad used those.
I had heard that too. My dad had the Doobie Brothers cover, and it was just like this nasty looking joint on there, that was half smoked.
I love that, dude. What was the first concert you ever remember going to? And was there anything you took away from that? It's kind of saying, hey, this is something I want to do?
Believe it or not, it's funny you say that. Like my first like official concert, like I remember being really young, and there would be some bluegrass acts that would come through my hometown in Aiken, South Carolina. But like my first like pack up the car. We're going to stay in a hotel to see a show. It was actually Boston at Chastain Park. My dad was just a big fan of Boston. I don't know why. I can't tell you why, but he wanted to take me there because he just felt like it would be a rock show without the dope smoking. He's like, oh, Chastain Park, you know, it's outside. It'll be out. And he was right. I mean, it was a kind of a cheese and wine crowd because I feel like Chastain Park would sell like a season, you know, pass for a lot of those folks that would go to those shows. So they'd probably go see like a string quartet, and then when Boston would come through, they'd see them too. So it was a mild crowd, but I remember being hooked just by the guitar work and just, I mean, the sound in there is incredible. So that was one of my first memories of just being like, oh man, this live music is just, you know, got me hooked. So
I love that, man. So
Cool.
at the age of 7, you knew you wanted to do music. What happened around that time? What just made you decide this is what I want to do?
Well, I didn't know if I, you know, I didn't know, maybe I'm trying to think. At 7, I knew I wanted to play music. I didn't know if I didn't have an idea I'd do it professionally or anything, but I think the era of music we were in when I was 7, you know, in the 90s, it was such a great era of music between country, obviously, but then alternative and grunge and rock, and radio was so strong then that I would, majority of my like finding my music would be FM radio and the rock station and the country station. And I remember like really, you know, when you're 7 and 8, when you hear something that just kind of blows your mind, you know, you're just all about it at that time. I remember I heard Rage Against the Machine for the first time, and I think I was a little bit older than 7, but I remember like I begged my mom like to take me to it might have been Sam Goody at the time, or even Walmart, to go buy the Evil Empire album. And I remember it was parental advisory, and she was like, I'm not getting you this thing. And I think I ended up paying a guy that worked for my dad to like go get it for me, and I ended up getting the cassette. And that was back, I mean, this is before I was even rocking CDs, man. You know, like, so I got like the cassette because it was a little bit cheaper. And yeah, I remember Rage Against the Machine blowing my mind when I was like 8 or 9 years old. So yeah, I think
what was your first thought of Pantera when you first heard of them?
Oh, well, I got into Pantera a little bit, and like Pennywise, and kind of like the punk rock scene and Anthrax and all that stuff. And yeah, when I heard, I guess, was it Dimebag Darrell and all his guitar work? I remember being blown away by that too.
Hell yeah, man! I love that. Yeah, I think we got like a 3 or 4 second delay, so I'll have to play that into the factor. Yeah, we do. All right, buddy. So when did you first pick up your guitar, man? I always ask how you acquire your first guitar, but I heard a Sears Roebuck catalog came into play a little bit, a little guitar from that age.
It did. Yeah, my grandma, I was at her house, and I think she was just like cleaning out her attic at one point, and she found an old Sears Roebuck catalog guitar, and it was basically like just a piece of plywood with a lipstick pickup on it. And I still have it at my parents' house. And I remember, you know, taking the dust off of it, and it didn't have any strings on it. It was just sitting in her attic. And I remember just praying, you know, at that age, you find something like that and you're just like, oh gosh, I hope this works, you know? So we put some strings on it, and I remember it tuned up okay, but what really changed the game is when I think I ended up getting like a little practice amp for my birthday that year. And when we plugged it in, the pickup worked, and that just sent me down the spiral of wanting to play guitar. And that's when I started like learning power chords and just simple songs, probably 7, 8, 9 years old. And then I really got into it when I was probably 11 or 12 and 13, and got a better guitar and a better amp, and like really kind of woodshedded from there.
Hell yeah, man. So growing up like in that era, I probably early 80s, because I was 82, and when you said like 8 or 9 in the 90s, it's like I know that feeling. I grew up through the same era. But did you used to, when you had those cassettes and everything, did you used to pull them out and look at who was writing these songs? Or did you even know who a songwriter was back then?
No, it's funny you say that. I just assumed that every artist that I was listening to wrote those songs. And, for the most part, with just the dummy rule of it, for what I was listening to when it came down to like Nirvana and obviously Springsteen and even Skinner and all that, yeah, they were writing their own songs. But I never got that far. I just assumed everybody wrote their own songs, whoever the artist was. I didn't learn about songwriting and people actually getting their songs recorded by artists but right before I moved to Nashville, which was, I mean, I had heard obviously like, oh, this person recorded this song, but I didn't know about the community that we have in Nashville till about 2011. And I moved in the beginning of 2013. So like I lived a lot of life living in a bubble, you might say, about that.
So I read you started kind of dabbling with songwriting in high school a little bit, but did you keep a journal? Did you write poems or anything? Or did you just kind of just say, I'm just going to put some thoughts on a piece of paper?
I never journaled or did any poems or anything like that. I really did not like school, to be honest. I wasn't the best student. Math was not my strong suit, but English was always pretty good when I was in school. But I think what drew me more towards writing was melody. So I would always have some chords or have some weird riffs, and I'd try to just do a cool melody over it and then just plug words in that sounded good over them. And a lot of it didn't make sense. Like, like I said, when I was listening to Pearl Jam and all that stuff, half that stuff doesn't make sense. It just has an amazing melody. So I kind of just drew from that, and my songs are really bad, but I tried my best to hone in on the melody. And it wasn't till I went to college where I really like studied the craft of a hook or when to get to a chorus and that sort of thing. Uh-oh, lost him.
Did we lose him?
Nope, there he is.
Oh, there you are, buddy. Sorry, I swear his house is haunted. Can you hear us? No? Are you there, buddy? Hello? Nothing?
No,
Let's hope everything. Can you hear us now? No?
I wonder if it's
You can't hear us?
I hear you on the live.
You hear us on the live?
I hear us on the live.
But we can't hear each other.
No.
Hey, if you don't mind, if you can hear us, try logging out and logging right back in again. See what happens.
There he goes.
All right. So you hear us on the live fine?
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, guys, we're going to try to see what happens. I don't know what happened. We lost something here. So we're going to back on. All right, buddy. Can you hear me again?
I can hear you now.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I don't know what happened. I was telling Jenny, I swear our house is haunted, but.
Well, I'm just wondering if it's the platform tonight. Every once in a while we get a weird issue with the platform too. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
All right. But so we were talking a little bit in high school, how you didn't really like school and stuff.
And we talked about your writing. Yes. When you started writing.
So you got serious about it in college, man. You went to college in Alabama. What'd you go to college for?
I had no idea, to be honest. my aunt went to Alabama, and ever since I was a kid, she was like, "You should go to Alabama. You should get out of South Carolina." And when I was in school, like I said, I didn't do well. I played on the golf team, and I was really focused on that, and so I didn't really study as much as I should. But it got to the point where senior year comes around, and I'm like, okay, I have to like make some good grades, or I'm not going to get out of my hometown. And I really wanted to leave, so I ended up making a 3.9 because I applied myself my senior year, and I got into
Wow.
University of Alabama. And yeah, so I ended up going there just to find a major. I think my first year I just did like general studies kind of thing, and then I got into communications, and I could never really find a major at Alabama, and I was on the fishing team and just kind of partying and trying to figure it out. But I made great grades at Alabama. I always had like above a 3.0, so I was able to transfer to South Carolina after I left Alabama. But that was my story of how I got there. It's really just my aunt pushing me to go and get out of my hometown.
Well,
That,
hey,
that happened to me.
sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, man. Hey, I'm glad I got out of my hometown and
Mhm.
got away from things for a little bit. That's what you need to do. So,
That's awesome.
but I love that, dude. So when did you finally say, all right, I'm going to Nashville, I'm making the jump, I'm doing this?
It was 2012. I remember I was in a band, and we played about 50-50 originals and covers, and my buddy Drew had some songs that we would play, and then we played my songs. And I would just have people come up to me and be like, "Hey, what's that fourth song that you played?" And I would be like, "Oh, I wrote that." And they would say, "Hey, Kenny Chesney could record that." And that's when I went down the rabbit hole of just looking up songwriters in the community. And when I found out that there was actually people making a living writing songs, I looked more into Nashville. And it came, at a good time in my life, because my dad, like I said, was trying to just put me on salary, and I didn't want to work in the golf business for the rest of my life. And I was young enough to make the move, and I didn't know anyone in Nashville. I just knew that I could always work in the golf business, just mowing grass, just kind of. It wasn't a plan B, because obviously you can't have a plan B, but just knowing that I could go get a minimum wage grass mowing job, and that took me up to Nashville in 2013, and I worked at Brentwood Country Club for like the first 6 months, and then went on to Hillwood. But it was able to get me in the door, and I was able to go out and play at night, because we were done by 2:30 or 3 every day when I was first moved to Nashville.
I love that. Did you ever visit Nashville before you moved there? Or was that your first time kind of being introduced to the city?
I visited in 2012. I actually got on Facebook back before it was, I guess, super creepy to do this. But I just got on Facebook, and I was like, do I know anyone that lives in Nashville? And I found a buddy of mine that was friends with an ex-girlfriend of mine from college, and he lived in Nashville, and he let me crash on his couch and showed me a good time. And we went to Broadway, did the whole thing, and I just had that energy and magic. I was able to catch it, and I just loved the feeling of the city. So I visited it once then, and then I came back because my mom made a call, and she had a friend that she knew growing up, and I was able to meet with her, and she helped me out a ton early on, and I was able to stay with her a couple times and get settled. And then I was able to get a job, and then I found some roommates on Craigslist, and that's a whole nother story. And that's what got me here in 2013. So I visited probably 3 times before I moved.
Roommates on Craigslist can make a really good horror movie, I think.
It's so funny, The
I
things
think
we
there's
used to do
already
and
something
didn't
on
worry about.
Netflix that's like that.
I think so. I'm sure a story has started out that way.
Yeah, hell of a song. So you talked a little bit about the golf business, and your dad and grandpa was both in the golf world. So when you said salary, you're like, all right, I'm out. But something I saw, I think you were a Sony or something. You got to do. We're huge Eric Church fans, but you got to do their golf tournament one year. How was that whole situation, or how the whole tournament go? How was that?
Oh, that tournament's amazing. So I think it's called the Club in My Hand kind of charity event. And so a lot of his crew guys play and band guys will play. I don't know if Eric played that year, but I was able to play that because Eric was at the time signed with Sony Music Publishing that I'm signed with now. And so they had a team and luckily, like I've carried on some decent amount of golf skills since I, was playing all the time in high school. So I get asked a lot to play in tournaments, which is really nice. And so they asked me, and it was an amazing tournament. I'm obviously a huge Chief fan too, so it was fun going out there and playing in his event and supporting charity. But it was a great, it was a great time. I remember we drank a lot of beer.
Yeah, I've heard that about that tournament. A lot of beer drinking out there, and I heard it's a lot of good times, and great charity too. They have cool little auction items they put up. So I think they used to do it every year. I don't know they've done it the last couple of years, but yeah. So when you're doing the writing, you're in the creative process and everything. How do you incorporate feedback and critique into your creative process? Like, how do you take that and put it forward?
Oh, I love it, to be honest. I think not to go down a whole tangent on this, but I didn't really become the writer that everyone says. Sometimes I say I have imposter syndrome, but the writer that people say that I am without other people basically not teaching me, but in co-writing, I learned so much from other people's craft and how they approach songwriting and how they approach songs and ideas and melodies and phrasing that and I still learn every day. Like I've learned something new today, or I learned something new last week. And I think with critique and everything that comes along with writing songs is nothing's ever perfect, and no one knows the absolute formula of writing a song and it being a hit. There's a lot of timing and there's a lot of patience that you have to have, and it just has to be the right time for the right artist. But I love, there's so many songs, I heard this the other day, that are at like 90 to 95%. And I love when my publisher's like, hey, this hook isn't landing for me, or hey, you think you need to put a bridge in here? Hey, this melody falls a little flat, or you're losing me here. And half the time, if you just go back and tweak those little spots, and the song goes from a C plus song to an A song, and then heck, it might get recorded. So I always welcome it. We do this so much. We write every day. So you're always you might miss something or miss an angle, so I always love hearing it for sure.
That's great. That's amazing.
That's cool. How do you stay grounded and motivated in an often challenging and competitive industry? Because I mean, there's new people moving to Nashville every day by the dozens now. But how do you stay grounded in knowing that?
Yeah, it's funny. To be honest, I think I've kind of just gone along with the flow of my life and kind of where it's taken me. But when I first moved to Nashville, I ran off of pure adrenaline because I just wanted to be in the scene so badly, and I wanted to just be able to do music full time. And I saw a lot of people that moved around the same time as I did get publishing deals, or people that I'd met get deals or get cuts or singles. And honestly, it was like super inspiring to actually know that it could work. And so I always try to keep that feeling inside my heart. And it's very, 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 very hard, because when you do it for long enough, and then you get a hold, and then you get a cut, and then you get a single, and then you get a hit, it kind of just drones on, where you're kind of living your life and not taking a look around and being like, oh wow, I've made it a long way. I have a publishing deal that provides for my family, and I can write songs for a living. When I first moved to town, I would have killed to just get a meeting. So I think that's what keeps me grounded and inspired, is just to realize every once in a while, be like, hey, you're doing a job that not many people are, able to do. And also just know that I'm not digging ditches for my dad anymore, or mowing grass. And so I try to just keep that excitement of today I could write a hit song, or I could walk into my next write and write a hit song. And I think that's what keeps me plowing.
Hell yeah,
That's
man.
exciting,
Yeah,
yeah.
dude. That's you got to.
You have to. I was gonna say you kind of have to. You know,
You always got to be innovative, and
you never know what's gonna
I mean,
happen.
you said we talked about Church a little bit ago. Look how he
Mhm.
is always evolving. Every time he does a new album, he evolves into something else. So
You learn to grow,
I love
learn
seeing
from
that.
each other. I love it.
So a few of your favorite, or a few of my favorite songs that you put out lately, "Damn Love" by Kip Moore. You got part of that. "Loving on You," Luke Combs. "Going, Going, Gone," Leonard Luke Combs. But you know, of all the songs I think you've had cut, my favorite is "Runway" by Drew Parker. So tell me a little bit about
Oh man,
doing
yeah,
that song, writing that song with him.
I love that song, man, and I love Drew, and obviously Drew's going to be out on the road with us in Europe. Drew and obviously Ray Fulcher, a great buddy of mine, but I think that was one of the probably first few times that I'd written with Drew and Matt McGinn, who's also a great writer. I think it was an afternoon thing, and we got together, and I forget who had the idea, but it was a very just easy write, man. I just remember it feeling so great, and that melody came out, and when we were able to spin that hook of, you know, I'll be the runway, like you can go, but you can come back. I think that was like the light bulb moment. And I've always loved that song, and I've always just messed with Drew like that should have been a hit, man. Come on. You should, you know, gotten them to take that to radio, but we always do that with our buddies. But I think he still plays it live, and I think he gets some good, you know, I think fans love it. So I'm pumped that you dig it, because that is one of my favorites too.
Yeah, dude. We're Drew and Ray's both been on the show. We're huge fans of both of them. And
Yeah.
we when I first heard that song, dude, I was having kids and stuff. I just connected right to it because that's, I mean, it's so true. So if you guys not heard that song, go check out Drew Parker "Runaway," one of my favorites. So I wanted to ask you kind of what the rest of the year look like for you. You've put out 2 singles lately: "Fly on the Wall" with Hardy, which co-wrote with Hardy. I mean, and then "Partying Degree." You put that out in May. But you're getting ready to go out on tour and fall with Ray and Drew. They're doing, dude, that songwriting round is gonna be freaking awesome before the Luke Combs show. Tell me what you're looking forward to going over to Europe, and what else you got on the calendar this year, man.
Yeah, Europe's gonna be amazing. So I'll probably release one, maybe two more songs before we go over there, but I'll drop the entire album in September before I make it across the pond. But as far as other stuff I have going on, I'll be out on the road writing some. With I always try to do that in the summer. I'll probably go out with Luke at some point, and I've been writing with Nate Smith on the road some, and obviously I always go out with the Cadillac 3 because I love Jaron. He's a great buddy of mine, and Neil as well. But honestly, just being a dad and trying to write great songs in town and write them on the road, and just prepare for Europe, and make sure I'm sure we're only going to be able to get 2 or 3 songs, so just kind of figure out what 3 are going to go well, you know, together, and obviously we could figure that out as night after night and see what the crowd's reacting to. But basically preparing for Europe and dropping the album before then, and just seeing what happens, man.
Have you ever been to Europe before or been overseas? And if you haven't, where are you looking forward to maybe trying to get to see? I know tour you don't get to see much, but tour buses and backstage hallways. But anything you're looking forward to maybe being able to check out?
Absolutely. No, I've never been across the pond. So, and to do it with some buddies that you know, we've been friends for a long time. We both moved to Nashville, or we all moved to Nashville pretty much the same time. I think that's going to be special. You know, selfishly, I want to check out some golf courses in Scotland and Ireland while I'm over there. I want to see Amsterdam in the red light district. But I also want to, you know, my grandfather fought in World War II. So I would love to, you know, go see some really. It'll be tough, and I know it's not going to be. We'll have to pick a day where we have the stomach for it. But I'd love to like go see like the Anne Frank hideout house, and then really dive into some World War II stuff, and just if we're able to, just because I heard my grandfather just go on and on about it when I was really little. So.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's amazing. Yeah, my dad was stationed in Germany, late 60s, and I've always wanted to go over there and just kind of see things. I love to take him
Put
one
a
day.
place
but
with the stories.
yeah,
you
just
know?
kind of because he always tells me these cool stories.
Mhm.
It'd be kind of cool to see that over there one of these days. But man, that's freaking awesome, dude. I'm excited for you guys,
Congratulations,
dude.
yeah.
I'm really excited for this for you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, we're pumped.
Hell yeah, man. All right, we're gonna move on to our sponsored part of the night. It's called Powered by Pod Decks. We drew a couple cards out of the deck earlier, and the first one is you're probably gonna be on a few of these over in Europe. But if you're on an 8-hour drive between shows and you stop at a gas station for snacks, what 3 items are you always gonna grab?
All right. Well, I would have to say, and this might gross people out, but I don't care. I'm unashamed about it. I love pork rinds. Like, gotta give me some pork rinds, but preferably the spicy kind. And as far as other 2 items, I would say if we're including drinks and snacks, I would say I'm a Diet Coke guy. It's terrible, I know, but I love some Diet Coke. So it'd be Diet Coke, pork rinds, and then probably something sweet, which would be I would say like a Heath bar or some Skittles, to be honest.
Skittles are good.
I love that. Of all the songs you've written up to this point, which one of your songs would you most want to be remembered by?
Oh man, yeah, that's a good question. Up to this point, I would say oh man. There's a couple, but Used to You, and I know everyone asks me what's your favorite song. I would just say that one I would love to be remembered by for the fact of what it's done for folks. And I was on another podcast the other day, and it is true. I've signed so many lyric sheets and had so many kind and sweet messages about people that really connect to that song because they lost a loved one. And I feel like I moved to Nashville wanting to do what my heroes did, and their music moved me. So if like I'm making music that's moving people, I think that's like I can go live my life and be happy with that. And so I think that song, I would say, just for lack of some other ones, I could say like, oh, hits because you heard them on the radio, but I feel like that one connected with a lot of people, and I think that's super special, especially to me.
I love that. Yeah, definitely. Oh, that was one of my favorites too. I love that one. All right, man. We're gonna try this next section is gonna be a little bit interesting because I know we have that little bit of a delay, but I got 4 clips of songs I think you might have a memory with. I don't know. Researching for the show, these are the songs that kind of popped up. So I'm gonna play them each. Quick little clip of them. First memory you have, we'll talk about. Hit the yellow one. Lenny Kravitz, Fly Away, man. When you hear that song, where does it take you?
Man, it takes me to this bonus room. Growing up, we lived above the pool that my mom ran, and I would stay in that bonus room and try to learn that song. That was like the first song that I learned on guitar, and I remember just playing it back on cassette, rewind, play to figure out that riff on guitar. And I finally learned it, and I'm old enough to where like I'm sure there was some music tablature out, but like mid-90s, like it was hard to find. Like internet was so slow that I learned everything by ear. So that's a good memory. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was doing guitar lessons, I had the tab books in probably like 95, 96, 97 around there. I had a few tab books, but that was about it. All right, let's hit that green one. All right, Nirvana, Heart-Shaped Box, man. When you hear that song, where's it taking you?
Oh man, my grandpa had a Cadillac, and I remember he used to drive me around when I was a little kid all the time to run errands and stuff my mom didn't want to take me to do. And I remember I bought that cassette, and he asked me, "What did you buy?" And I played that at his Cadillac, and he kind of looked at me funny. And I remember that one. That whole record is just incredible. But that's what I connected to. My grandfather's disappointment in my music taste.
That reminds me of my grandmother.
Right in his Cadillac too, man. Probably had a good sound system though.
Yeah, it was an older one. I want to say this was, mid-90s. It's probably an early 80s, but it's still, he kept it really nice. So I think it was probably good.
Oh, yeah. All right, hit that yellow one. He says you're a Skinner fan, man. Simple Man by Skinner, man. When you hear that song, where's it take you?
Oh man, when I was in high school, we used to cover that song, and it takes me back to where we've had that in a set of about 4 songs, and we play the pool that my mom ran, where they used to have a 4th of July, and that's coming up, believe it or not. So no wonder it's on my mind. But they used to have a party, and we basically forced them to listen to us because we would just set up our equipment and play. It wasn't like they were coming to see us, and that was one that was in the set. And yeah, that's one of my favorite Skinner songs, just melodically and the feel and that smell we used to try to work up to. And yeah, man, Skinner, some of the best.
The first time I ever pissed her off was with that smell, man. I met her at a music festival, and we got there the night before and set up our tent late, like probably 12-1. We were drunk, whatever, but we were loud as hell playing Skinner on repeat, and that smell kept playing. She's trying
it over.
She's trying to sleep in her tent next to us.
I hadn't even met him yet, and I hated him.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Now look where we are.
Yeah, that Country Thunder in Wisconsin back in 2005. Yeah, it's been a minute.
2004.
Yeah, it's been a minute. All right, we're gonna do the last one. The green one. This is gonna be a good one. Hey, little girl, is your daddy home? Did he go and leave you all? So I'm on fire, Bruce Springsteen, man. I'm sure it takes you back to your dad's vinyl, but when you hear that, where you're at?
Oh man, yeah, it takes me back. Very, very young. I mean, that, and so my dad, you know, he was a huge, or still is, Springsteen fan, and so I'm on fire. And then I got into Nebraska, but I was like too young to really just understand how dark that album was. But I love Nebraska, and I loved Atlantic City. There was just so many of those, you know, kind of like left to center Bruce songs. I wouldn't say I'm on fire is left to center. It's a little bit more popular now, but yeah, it takes me to our living room and just going through those vinyls, and my dad being like, well, if you want this side of Bruce, here's this record, and here's, you know, Born to Run, and here's The River. Like, it was an encyclopedia of the boss. So yeah, man, that's what takes me back. Living room, probably 5, 6 years old.
Hell yeah, dude. I love that, man. All right, man. We'll wrap things up tonight. Before we let you go, we got to put you on the hot seat. Normally we do like 60 seconds on the clock, play a little music in the background. Tonight's gonna be a little harder because we have that delay, but your first CD or vinyl, or in our case, your first cassette you ever purchased with your own money.
First cassette I ever, oh, this is funny. I'm pretty sure it was Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill.
Yep. That was my jam.
I love that. Mine was Soul Asylum, Grave Dancers Union was mine. Had Runaway Train on it. I'll never forget that.
Oh yeah.
Where is your happy place? Like, where do you go to kind of cool down for a little bit?
I would say I'm a beach guy. I like to go, you know, back in the day, I like to go fishing down in Charleston, Folly Beach. But lately, I mean, my wife, I've been lucky enough to marry into a family that has a lake house in Lake Michigan, and it kind of reminds me of the beach. But I like to be near water for sure, or on a boat.
Nice, dude. Nice. If there's anywhere close to Lake Michigan, we live right on the lake.
Yeah,
we're in Winthrop Harbor, so we're right there, like
half a mile from the lake.
Yeah, Illinois-Wisconsin border.
Oh yeah, so they have a house in Egg Harbor, like Door County.
Yep.
And north. Yep.
It's a great place. A great place. Who has the best pizza you've ever had?
Oh, geez. It was probably some pizza that I had on the road in New York, and then Chicago was a close second. I can't remember who it was. I know the freaking name off the top of my head.
Chicago,
but we had do what?
Chicago would probably be Lou Malnati's.
Yes. And I'm trying to think, as far as Nashville, we had some, I'm about to holler at my wife, you're going to laugh. Katie, what was the pizza we had the other night? There's this new place called Dicey's in Nashville,
All
and
right.
the pizza's great, but they do like a honey glaze with spice on top of the pepperoni, and I don't know what they do with it, but it's unbelievable. And I'm pretty sure I smoked that like entire pizza like the night of. Didn't even have any to stay in. So I would say if you're in Nashville, Dicey's, check it out. It's legit for sure.
We're gonna be there in a couple weeks. We might have to check that out.
Yeah.
So, what's the wallpaper on your phone?
The wall. Oh, my daughter going crazy after she got out of her bath, like her hair's all nuts, and she's like, ah.
Yeah, you gotta have that being a dad for sure. What's a movie that can always make you laugh?
Oh man, I would say I have so many. I would say Dumb and Dumber. I know that's super stock, but Dumb and Dumber, like I could turn that on at any moment and be in a bad mood and within 10 minutes be, in tears. I would say The Wolf of Wall Street. I just love the story of it. That one, is entertaining. And I would say what's another one there's so many. I do love some good comedies, but I would say, yeah, Dumb and Dumber is like the number one, like if you need a laugh, the whole thing,
I love that, man. I haven't seen. We gotta show the kids that movie. I don't think we've shown that movie yet.
I don't know that we want the kids to watch that just yet.
It's a funny movie, though. What was your first paying job you ever had?
Oh, probably working for my dad, and he was paying me like $2 or $3 an hour to go wash some golf carts or mow grass. I remember I was mowing grass on a riding mower by the time I was 5 or 6, which is definitely not safe because they're super dangerous and there's reels going. But
like,
yeah, definitely for my dad.
I love that, man. What's the oldest thing you own in your house or that you use home?
Ooh, the oldest thing I own. Well, so my aunt gave me this mandolin, this Martin, it's not a mandolin, it's a Martin ukulele. And it's so old that like I had to like look up the serial number and like go through all of Martin. It's been passed down in her family for like 3 generations, but pretty sure it's like mid 1800s, like something crazy like that. And so that's probably the oldest thing I have in my house is an old Martin ukulele.
Oh man, that's awesome. I think ours is definitely that vinyl record player or that old vintage record player we have. This might be more of a question for your wife, but what chore do you not like doing? What chore?
Oh, chore. Pretty much all of them, buddy. No, but I would say the chore that I don't like doing the most would be at this point, I would say vacuuming's not very much, and that is my job. I'm the vacuum guy, and I'm also the kitchen cleaning guy. Not a big bathroom cleaner, so I don't really like that either, but we make do. It's funny when you have a kid, you try to just do the best you can. My wife's probably in the other room shaking her head if she hears me say this, but we team up pretty well. We make a good team.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. You got to. It's awesome. What was your favorite childhood television show?
Oh, childhood TV show. Man, it was hard to beat Nick back in the day, and I'm pretty sure there was a show on Nick called Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was, I'm telling you, that show would come on, and I wanted to be on that show so bad. Like, it was such an adventure, and the sets that they made that out of was one of my favorites. Yeah, I would say that one for sure.
I love that. I thought you were going to go salute your shorts at first, but all right, I'll go with Hidden Temple. All right, man. The last one, you get to go to Europe here soon, so you can cross that off. But what's something that's still on your bucket list that you want to achieve in music or just in life?
Oh, man. This is a lofty one, and I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I would love to play Red Rocks as an artist in some capacity, even if it's just like opening, or it's just been a venue favorite of mine for a long time, and it's beautiful there. So I would say just playing it in an artist capacity, or even a songwriter who's counting, but being able to be on that stage and not in the stands would be amazing.
Dude, I love that. If you ever, we'll have to be there. We'll have to go to that show, and dude, that'd be awesome, man. Red Rocks, I've heard, is a beautiful place. We have not been yet. We're kind of saving that for one of these days for a special show. We'll see. But, well, dude, thank you so much. I know we ran over a little bit. Thank you for bearing with us with all the sound issues tonight.
The tech issues,
This was the craziest we've ever had. I don't know what's going on with our internet or whatever tonight. But, dude, we wish you nothing but the best of luck with everything coming up. And cannot wait to hear about this Europe trip, man. You definitely have to do some videos while you're over there or something, post on some socials so we follow along with you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. This has been fun. And we'll
dude.
hopefully see you out on the road at some point.
Hey, anytime you come to Chicago, let me know, man. I also do photos on the side too. So if you ever need a guy doing photos in Chicago, holler at me.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, buddy. Have a good one. Have a good night.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was a fun one, guys. Let's see. There we go. Man, that was wild. It was fun. It was wild. The only thing I didn't like about tonight's show is it didn't feel like a conversation.
Well, we were having tech issues.
I
don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's because our tech issues.
We've been froze, like our videos going in and out tonight.
So we do apologize. It felt more like a straightforward interview tonight where we're just kind of asking questions and waiting for the response back. I'm more
thanks
like to
for
be more
hanging in there and watching with us. And
so we do apologize. I don't know why our internet is.
Our connection is terrible tonight. We're gonna have to check that out. So we'll figure that out. We're hardwired in too, so that's strange.
That was the strangest I've ever had. I've never had that big of a delay.
No,
it was at least a 5-second delay.
He was a ton of he was fantastic.
Yeah, that was fun.
He was fun. Yeah, I mean, it was a great. I loved listening to him.
If you're overseas and you get to check out that Luke Combs show with the songwriter round, Drew Parker, Ray Fulcher, and James McNair, all three of them together on stage.
So cool.
It's gonna be a riot.
It's
gonna be
so
amazing.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
So really cool things. All right. Well, before we let you guys go and we wrap up tonight, we always like to circle back to our pod deck questions. And I don't know if we've ever answered this one before.
I don't even remember what they were.
I'm gonna bring Jackson up on this one too, because Jackson gets to answer this
question.
All three of us can. So, all right, Jackson. If you're in a car, you're driving from Chicago to West Virginia. You stop at a gas station. What three items are you gonna grab from that gas station?
You get three. Only three.
Only three.
Mm-hmm. Talking to the mic.
Talking to the mic. Takis, Prime, and
Takis. What flavor Prime?
What flavor Prime?
Prime hydration.
Get right up on the mic. There you go.
So
you said Takis and what else?
Prime and
something sweet.
Yeah, something chips. Yeah, something like chips.
Chips are like tacos. Okay. So you kind of the Takis are too spicy. You'll eat the chips. What are you doing? Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going?
I want to know if you know what I would get. I know you know what I get.
Probably Mountain Dew
Gardettos. The Gardetto rice. And gummy bears. See, folks, that's what happens after.
I don't know if you know mine.
Almost 20 years.
Every single time I walk into a gas station, I'm buying something.
No, it would be something sour, like sour chewy candy or something. So Sour Patch Kids or Ropes, those licorice, something like that. And then you would get an energy drink. You like those Celsius drinks right now.
Oh, the third item I grabbed. You got the first two right.
I did.
That's surprising. I didn't think you get them. God, this one's the most obvious out of all of it.
I would say some kind of nut, like peanuts or like
Thanks
like peanuts or something like that.
One thing I always get every time I go to a gas station. The biggest jug of water they have.
Oh yeah, a big water. That's true.
So I get one of the biggest waters. Celsius and like a Sour Patch Kid. My 8-hour trip. Well, guys, we want to thank you guys again. It was awesome tonight having James on. Sorry so much about any of the technical difficulties. It's going to be a really fun show to edit tomorrow when I do start editing and put it together for all of our streaming platforms.
But go back and listen to it on the streaming platform. It'll be good.
Oh, it'll be crisp. It'll be nice. all be crisp. As we come to the end of this episode, I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to our guest tonight, James McNair. Your passion and dedication to the craft of music have inspired so many. Your words have resonated with our fans and touched your hearts. And insights you shared about your creative process, challenges, and successes have aligned and motivated our listeners, including me, to pursue their artistic dreams with perseverance and authenticity. As you embark on your upcoming projects, I have no doubt that you continue to push boundaries and explore new frontiers. Talked about that earlier about evolving, pushing boundaries. But in country music, your innovative vision and exceptional talent will undoubtedly shape the industry's future and leave a lasting impact on fans, inspiring artists alike. Don't forget to catch up on everything you missed from past episodes over at melodiesmemories.com. And we're going to see you tomorrow night with another amazing show. And it's going to be a fun one. So we'll see you guys then.
The Melodies and Memories Podcast with Jillian and Aaron Shriver, brought to you by Arlo Revolution. As we close the book on another chapter, remember, music gives us soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. Next week, Jillian and Aaron connect more melodies and memories with the fans and artists they love. Thank you for being a part of this musical journey, and we will see you next time on the Melodies and Memories Podcast with Jillian and Aaron Shriver.